What is transportation? Transportation is the movement of humans, animals, and goods from one location to another. Most of transportation include air, land, road, and rail. This can be divided into infrastructure vehicles and operation. Vehicle traveling on this network may include automobiles, bicycles, buses, trains, aircrafts, etc. Transportation will give benefits to the society, at the same time it will give damage to the environment. The improvements in the transportation system will increase damages to the environment. Therefore, negative role of current transportation system can be identified as follows. Common issues in transportation in Sri Lanka: traffic congestion, demand for parking space, high infrastructure maintenance cost, environmental impacts and energy concept, accidents and safety, climate changes, governance issues, damaged stocks, time consuming, railway network is inadequate. Let's see a small video on common issues in transportation.
When you think transportation, the next thing you think of is fossil fuels. We need to get off of fossil fuels one way or another. And it's really imperative that we do that for many reasons. Global warming, also the political aspect of it, that we're dependent on these outside sources, and that's going to be a really big problem going into the future. Wherever you go, we need the same amount of energy to run a car. You may get it from oil, or you may get it out of the outlet at your home, but you need the same amount of energy, and that's what it comes down to. How we produce that energy will change, but there's no perfect solution to this problem. That's why it's so difficult. The big problem is that we're dealing with existing infrastructure and we're trying to adapt it in various ways. And it's very difficult to adapt our technology to work with what we already have.
You can't just think of the vehicle, you have to think of how the whole community is designed, what it's designed for, and then when it all works together, you get extraordinary results. The best example I know is called Curitiba, Brazil. It's a city the size of Houston or Philadelphia. You can get any place you want to quickly, cheaply, safely, because their design criterion was, we want people to have more time with their families and not be sitting in a crowded commuter vehicle. And the result is that people leave their cars at home because the public system's a lot better.
So transportation is not just a technology issue, it's also a cultural issue.
It's cultural, it's policy, it's competitive strategy and business models, it's design, it's everything together, and it's one of the most important human activities, both in its potential for better lives and its potential for destruction if we don't start doing it right.
I think that we'll start moving away from cars eventually. Public transportation systems will become more prominent. You know, modern technology is giving us a lot more options when it comes to how we work, where we work, how we get to work. But there's also long distance travel, which we'll never get rid of.
The next big revolution will be when we can make batteries that can store energy substantially denser than jet fuel. And then the nice thing is the planes would immediately become much lighter, because what the planes are mostly doing is flying fuel around. And the passengers are a very small part of the load. So we can lightweight everything else, but until we really lightweight the fuel, it's hard to make transportation a lot more efficient.
Is just changing the technology we use to create vehicles, is that enough, or do we need to change how we think about transportation?
Well, it helps to change the way we think about it too, because the clipper ships went faster than many of the cargo ships are going now, because the cargo ships are going slow to save fuel. So if they simply would put up a kite, they could go with burning almost no fuel, because if you run the kite up a kilometer or something, the wind velocity is constant and you can just get dragged across the ocean.
It's kind of a return to the basics. Like, we have all of this sophisticated technology, but yet we're returning to this basic concept of using what we have more efficiently. In the very long term, in hundreds of years, cars and CO2, those won't be the problems, but the idea of transportation will still exist, and we need to think about it more broadly and think about how to really engineer solutions that will work for millennia, not just for the next 20 years. If we could totally build a new city, what would we have it run on so that it would be really efficient?
Walking and biking.
How about flying cars and transporters?
I think less traffic is probably a good place to start.
Everyone wants faster, better, cheaper. Last century, there wasn't a movement to keep the environment okay. And now we realize that what we've been doing is maybe not the best thing in the long run, and that we need to be careful about the effects of our transportation on the environment. We have technology solutions that are available and that we can implement very quickly. As I go out into my career, maybe I'll actually be able to bring some of these things into real life. And it's exciting because there's the potential for real change here.
To evade these transportation issues, people developed a transportation technology. What is transportation technology? Transportation technology refers to the system that we use to move people and/or freight from one location to another. Intelligent transportation system. The need for intelligent transportation solution to support goods transport and distribution in cities is mainly due to the complexity in urban transport system. This system will reduce the adverse impacts of the transport system on the environment. The ever-growing demand for transport results in more and more attention paid to systems that enable efficient management of traffic flows and the overall functioning of the transportation system. Due to complexity of the city, that administrator consider using intelligent transportation system solution as the basis for designing intelligent transport networks. Intelligent transportation systems are making driving and traffic management to better and safer for everyone. This system is transform transportation into a connected, dynamic component of the city as a system. This will have a positive impact on quality of life for society for a business. The purpose of intelligent transportation system is to process and share information that can prevent vehicle collisions, keep traffic moving, and reduce environmental impacts. The application of intelligent transportation system offers benefit to the society and businesses, the most important of them including following: increasing the capacity of the street networks, improving the travel comfort and traffic conditions for drivers, collective transport users, and pedestrians, integrating transport models, reducing travel times and decreasing energy consumptions, improving the quality of the natural environment by reducing pollutants emissions, increasing the economic benefits in the region, These systems have ability to distribute automatically real-time traffic data to websites, social medias, televisions, and radio stations. The negative impacts of intelligent transportation system are as follows. Difficult to use in mixed traffic preliminary. Difficulties in understanding intelligent transportation system equipment. The control system software could be hacked, and it is very costly. So, we understood how intelligent transportation system impacts to the society and businesses both positively and negatively. But intelligent transportation system was introduced as a solution for urban transportation. Therefore, we can see more positive impacts of this rather the negative impacts. The connected automated vehicle. Automated and connected vehicle technologies are among the most heavily researched automotive technologies. The vehicle technologies currently available are only a fraction of what is being developed for the future. From mobility apps to electric cars and vehicle automations, the connected automobile is rewriting the rules of the automobile industry and creating the chance to recognize our transportation infrastructure. Effect of connected vehicle environment on global travel efficiency. Drivers make their route choice according to their perception of the transportation system attribute, such as conditions in travel time, travel speed, travel cost, and road usage. It is a reasonable assumption that travel time is the most important one among the factors. For simplicity, this study focuses only on travel time. The basic value which maximizes the travel interest is adhered to the process of travel decision making. Drivers who receive high quality information services can obtain comprehensive real-time traffic information in the connected vehicle environment. The transportation system performance achieves the optimal state when the total travel time is minimized. In the connected vehicle environments, drivers dynamically select the optimal routes for themselves according to real-time operation conditions of the traffic system, where the operation state of the traffic system changes accordingly.
Imagine a future where vehicles talk to one another and to critical infrastructure. This connected vehicle technology can change our transportation system as we know it by enabling safe, interoperable, networked wireless communications among vehicles, infrastructure, and personal communications devices. Connected vehicles provide drivers with 360-degree awareness of similarly equipped vehicles within a range of approximately 300 meters. This secure system keeps personal information private and does not track your vehicle. Drivers will receive warnings that inform them of potential hazards through a visual display, seat vibration, or tone. These are only warnings. The driver remains in control of the vehicle at all times. However, the technology can also support limited automated functions in which the driver only cedes partial control of the vehicle. Warnings can help drivers respond quickly to avoid potential crashes. For example, the Intersection Movement Assist application warns drivers when it is unsafe to enter an intersection. The Do Not Pass application warns drivers when it is not safe to pass a slower moving vehicle. The Emergency Electronic Brake Light application notifies the driver when an out-of-sight vehicle several cars ahead is braking. And imagine the value of this blind spot warning application, which lets this commercial driver virtually see what's happening in his or her blind spot. Connected vehicles can communicate with smart roadside infrastructure like rail-grade crossings to alert drivers when a train is coming, even if the driver cannot see or hear the approaching train. Connected vehicles can help with weather-related traffic and safety issues too. This is especially true with conditions such as black ice, where the weather may not appear to be dangerous, but the roads are slippery. Information collected from multiple connected vehicles can help determine when a potential hazard exists, such as icy roads, and warn drivers before they experience them. Road weather data from the vehicles can be sent to Traffic Management Centers, or TMCs, providing detailed, real-time information to help monitor and manage transportation system performance. The centers can then take actions like adjusting traffic signals and speed limits, notifying maintenance crews, dispatching maintenance vehicles to the road, and broadcasting warnings for motorists. Motorists can get real-time road weather information from in-car displays by dialing 511 or by listening to highway radio stations. Motorists will be able to get road weather information on their personal devices before leaving home. Connected vehicles can even help us to reduce our carbon footprint and facilitate green transportation choices. Eco lanes are similar to today's HOV lanes, but with a big difference. Motorists in these lanes agree to drive eco-friendly vehicles and drive at a speed that conserves fuel. Drivers will be alerted about the proper speed with dynamic message signs. Connected vehicle applications can help vehicles to reduce idling and unnecessary stops by communicating with smart traffic signals. Traffic signals broadcast data about their current signal phase and timing, and systems inside the vehicles use the data to determine speed advice for drivers. Drivers could then adjust their vehicle's speed to pass the next traffic signal on green or slow down to a stop in the most eco-friendly manner, thereby saving fuel, reducing emissions, and saving drivers money. Connected vehicles can enhance awareness of unexpected roadside incidents like disabled vehicles, car crashes, police activity, and first responders caring for crash victims. Incident zone warnings will alert drivers about incidents ahead and warn them to slow down and change lanes. Communications could also be sent to first responders at the scene via shoulder radios to warn them of the danger of approaching vehicles. Connected vehicle technology can help control traffic flow and reduce the resulting congestion at accident sites before it gets out of hand. With millions of connected vehicles, our ability to share robust data with each other and with smart infrastructure will continue to improve traffic flow, enhance coordination with transit, and make our communities even more safe and livable. The Connection Protection application gives public transportation providers and travelers the ability to communicate two ways. The connected network gives passengers real-time transit information so they can more accurately predict whether they will make their next connection. If multiple people on a delayed bus will miss their next connection, transportation providers can adjust bus departures to enable the passengers to make their next connection. Dynamic ride-sharing applications make the logistics of ride-sharing, scheduling, reliability, and communication easier by connecting vehicles and handheld devices. Applications do the matching for us, authenticating users and connecting riders with drivers. The Cooperative Adaptive Cruise Control app helps drivers avoid stops and starts, which can also help conserve fuel and improve traffic flow. And the Q Warning app monitors traffic data to detect stretches of slow-moving traffic and warn motorists to reduce speeds to avoid potential rear-end collisions. Connected vehicle technology can help pedestrians too. For example, the Mobile Accessible Pedestrian Signal System app sends an automated pedestrian call from the smartphone of a pedestrian with disabilities to the traffic controller, holding the walk signal until the pedestrian has cleared the crosswalk. This application also alerts drivers of the presence of a pedestrian with disabilities at the crosswalk. The potential benefits of a connected transportation system, one that is able to enhance safety and mobility and address environmental impacts, are wide-ranging. They will be felt by every one of us, enhancing the livability of our communities and ultimately making our transportation safer and smarter. Imagine the possibilities.
Benefits of connected and automated vehicles for businesses and society. Cash elimination, cash-free driving and improved vehicle safety. A vehicle can monitor the environment continuously, making up for lapses in driver attention. Reduced need for new infrastructure. By managing traffic flow, self-driving can reduce the need for building new infrastructure and reduce maintenance cost. Travel time dependability. V2V, V2C, and V2I can substantially reduce uncertainty in travel times via real-time predictive assessment of travel times on all routes. Productivity improvements. A reduction in driving tasks will allow travelers to use travel time more productively. Improved energy efficiency. Reduced energy consumption in at least 3 ways: more efficient driving, lighter, more fuel-efficient vehicles, and efficient infrastructure. New models for vehicle ownership. Self-driving vehicles could lead to a major redefinition of vehicle ownership and expand opportunities for vehicle sharing. New business models and scenarios. Convergence of technologies may realign industries such that companies need to compete and collaborate at the same time. Challenges of automated and connected vehicles. Many trucking companies have challenges now in recruiting drivers. The overall loss of driving jobs will be real and painful to many.
Zero emission vehicles. What is the zero emission technology? The concept of zero emission vehicle is typically attributed to the transportation options that don't result in any harmful emissions during vehicle operations. Examples: electric vehicles, hydrogen fuel vehicles. Electric vehicles. An electric vehicle, also called EV, uses one or more electric motors or traction motors propulsion. An electric vehicle may be powered through a collector system by electricity from off-vehicle sources, or may be self-contained with a battery, solar panels, or an electric generator to convert fuel to electricity. EVs include but are not limited to road and rail vehicles, surface and underwater vessels, electric aircrafts, and electric spacecraft. Electric cars. The battery technology for electric car is based on charge or discharge cycles. Electric trains. The electric train powered by electricity. Electric trains are important because they provide transportation back and forth to many different locations without the use coal. Hydrogen fuel vehicle. Hydrogen vehicles are the vehicles that uses hydrogen as its onboard fuel for motive power. Hydrogen vehicles include hydrogen fuel space rockets, automobiles, other transportation vehicles. The positive impacts of zero emission vehicles. No gas required. Zero emissions are entirely charged by the electricity we provide, meaning we don't need to buy any gas ever again. Driving fuel-based vehicles can burn a hole in our pocket as prices of fuel have gone all-time high. Though electricity is not free and electric vehicles are far cheaper to run. Savings. These vehicles can be fueled for very cheap prices and many new vehicles will offer great incentives for you to get money back from the government for going green. No emissions. Zero emission vehicles are 100% eco-friendly as they run on electrically powered engines. It does not emit toxic gases or smoke in the environment as it runs on clean energy source. Popularity. Zero emission vehicles are growing in popularity. With popularity comes all new types of vehicles being put on the market that are each unique, providing you with a wealth of choices moving forward. Safe to drive. Zero emission vehicles undergo same fitness and testing procedures just as other fuel powered vehicles. In case an accident occurs, one can expect airbags to open up and electricity supply to cut from battery. This can prevent you and other passengers in the car from serious injuries. Cost effective. Low maintenance. Zero emission runs on electrically powered engines and hence there is no need to lubricate the engines. Other expensive engine work is a thing of past. Therefore, the maintenance cost of these cars has come down. Reduce noise pollution. Electric vehicles put curbs on noise pollution as they are much quieter. Electric motors are capable of providing smooth drive with higher acceleration over longer distance. Although the evidence of the positives has become very clear, there are also some downsides that each individual needs to consider before they decide to make an electric vehicle their next big investment. These reasons are: recharge points. Electric fueling stations are still in the development stages. Not a lot of places you go to on a daily basis will have electric fueling stations for your vehicle, meaning that if you are on a long trip and run out of a charge, you may be stuck where you are. Electricity is not free. Electric cars can also be a hazard on your energy bill if you are not considering the options carefully. If you haven't done your research into the electric vehicle you want to purchase, then you may be making an unwise investment. Sometimes electric vehicles require a huge charge in order to function properly, which may reflect poorly on your electricity bill each month. Short driving range and speed. Electric vehicles are limited by range and speed. Most of these vehicles have range about 50 to 100 miles and need to be recharged again. You just can't use them for long journeys as of now, although it is expected to improve in future. Longer recharge time. While it takes couple of minutes to fuel your gasoline powered vehicle, an electric car takes about 4 to 6 hours to get fully charged. Therefore, you need dedicated power stations as the time taken to recharge them is quite long. Silence has disadvantage. Silence can be a bit disadvantage as people like to hear noise if they are coming from behind them. An electric vehicle is however silent and can lead to accidents in some cases. Normally two-seaters. Most of the electric cars available today are small and two-seated only. They are not meant for entire family and a third person can make journey for other two passengers bit uncomfortable. Battery replacement. Depending on the type and usage of battery, batteries of almost all electric vehicles are required to be charged every 3 to 10 years. Not suitable for cities facing shortage of power. As electric vehicles need power to charge up, cities already facing acute power shortage are not suitable for electric vehicles. The consumption of more power would hamper their daily power needs. Electronic toll collection system. ETC aims to eliminate the delay on toll roads, HOV lanes, toll bridges and toll tunnels by collecting tolls without cash and without requiring cars to stop. Electronic tolls booths may operate alongside cash lanes so that drivers who do not have transponders can pay a cashier through coins into a receptacle with cashless tolling. Cars without transponders are either excluded or pay by plate. A bill may be mailed to the address where the car's license plate number is registered, or drivers may have a certain amount of time to pay with a credit card by phone. Advantages of electronic tolling system. Entire process takes a matter of seconds to complete. Electronic system records transaction including the time, date, plaza and toll charge of each vehicle. Allow drivers to pass through the system at 55 miles per hour. Magnetic train or maglev train. What is magnetic or maglev train? Maglev trains is a systematic of train transportation that uses two sets of magnets. Another set to move the floating train ahead at great speed, taking advantage of the lack of friction. One set to replace and push the train up off the track as in levitation. Positive impacts of maglev train. High speed. Maglev trains allow higher top speed than conventional train. There is no physical contact between the train and the rail. Hence, there is no frictional force between the train and the which resists the speed of a train. Low energy consumption. Maglev train use 30% less energy than conventional trains. Maglev trains doesn't have an engine like conventional train which consume huge power. Little maintenance. Maglev trains and its tracks would require very little maintenance since the train never touches the track. There is virtually no wear and tear. Expensive track. The maglev's tracks is much more expensive than their railroad tracks. Weather. Maglev trains are little affected by ice, snow, rain, severe, etc. Braking. The accelerating and decelerating of the maglev train is much faster than the conventional train. Less noise. In conventional trains, the noise is mainly caused by the wheels running on the track, but the maglev trains doesn't have wheels, so it produces little noise is produced due to the distributions of air while moving. Less pollution. Unlike the conventional trains, the maglev trains do not pollute the environment since they use the electricity which is produced from solar, wind and other renewable sources. Safety. Maglev trains are much safer than the conventional trains. Negative impacts of maglev train. The gap between the train and the tracks must be constantly monitored and corrected by computer system to the unstable nature of electromagnetic attraction. Although the maglev train accidents are infrequent, but the damage caused by the accidents are extreme.
All right, transportation, how it impacts on the society and our lives, and also how it impacts on the business. Well, let me take you to how the impact or the implications it has on day-to-day life of us as citizens or civilians. Now, personally, I do also use public transportation. So when it comes to public transportation, one of the weaknesses, or rather one of the challenging things that I see is that the amount that I pay for the conductors and the balance is receiving the balance is problematic, and sometimes they do not have change money with them, and so there are a lot of issues concerning that. Of course, different prices from different buses. So that is one of the weaknesses, and buses not traveling right on time. Punctuality concerning the buses. They spend a lot of time in bus halls. If you, for an example, 154 and 135. These routes are quite quite desperate and quite disgusting. How individuals or other drivers and conductors involved in providing us with the service. So that is very problematic, and even the noisy sounds coming out of the music arrangements that they have set inside the bus is also producing a lot of challenges and a lot of difficulties for us, the noise and all that. So how they address us, how they talk to us is also another concern, and a lot of time lag between two buses is such a huge problem, and time that it's an utter waste of time that we spend on the road. We do really travel by buses to travel ourselves from one place to another, but still we have to stay at a particular place for a longer time. So that really creates tension in us, and we have no idea as to what time the next bus will arrive at. So these are some of the concerns that we have when traveling using public transportation. So there should be some more advanced methods and means of traveling, and there should be better solutions provided to people in Sri Lanka. So the mental imbalance is created due to these issues is associated with public transportation. So that is again a problem created by this industry. So we think that there should be better solutions to solving these issues, because there should be a proper mandatory requirements. There should be proper rules and regulations regulating on the drivers, conductors and the owners of the buses. And also that is very important, that is very quintessential for the development of a country. Now even office workers are also using public transportation, so their effectiveness is also reduced due to this poor maintenance, poor quality of public transportation. So if you become animated, you become alive, because if you really experience a good traveling or transportation service or something of that kind, unless what produces is a negative outcome. So that is when it comes to creating mental balance and creating the leisure or creating a soothe in the minds of the consumers, public transportation is a must, and having a good public transportation system is a must. So that is the societal aspect of transportation. And when it comes to business, of course, a lot of delays, a lot of time lag traveling and transporting goods from one location to the other. So huge problems. Now we do really need developed and advanced and sophisticated roads, railway system connecting major cities in the country, and so then more and more investors will also be encouraged to invest in Sri Lanka. So that is one of the huge problems that we are facing as a country. So if we are to become developed, and more investments, foreign direct investments should inflow into the country, with the current system, that is quite problematic and very doubtful. So that has to be addressed, and the ports, airports and the roads, railways should be interconnected. There should be a proper relationship, and then only we can assure the investors from the outside to invest in our country. And of course for the businesses and also businessmen, entrepreneurs especially, they can also be encouraged if they are provided with all these facilities. Especially transportation matters great, because one of the 4 P's in marketing is place. So convenience of obtaining goods and services by the customers matters most when it comes to satisfying the customers. So in terms of satisfying the customers, in terms of businesses, in terms of societies, having a proper transportation system, well advanced, developed one, is very important. If you talk about in the UK, in the European countries, it's very easy. There's no huge, there's no loud noise coming inside the bus. It's very silent. People are, minding their own businesses. There's no any other person involved in, ticketing and all that. There's no traffic jam. People are not packed inside the buses now. Our buses are packed like cementines, right? So it should not be that. Proper and more advanced AC buses, air-conditioned buses should be deployed and should be used in public transportation, and more comfortability should be given to the public, and the government also has a responsibility in doing that. And I hope with the existing measurements taken, a far better transportation system will be executed. I can remember of better transportation system being introduced back in the day, but people were not encouraged to do it, encouraged to use public transportation, though despite AC buses were available, but still people did not use it. So people's attitudes should also be changed. People are running after status quo. They presume, okay, if I travel by a car, I am quite recognized and I'm accepted, I'm acknowledged by other people, and I'm respected. So that mindset is there with the Sri Lankans. So there's a part that even the customers, even the society, even the people, civilians, have to play when traveling in the buses. So public transportation should be better used by both the bus owners, the government, and the civilians. So that is what I have to tell you. This is a collective effort to be made by all stakeholders involved in transportation, public transportation. When it comes to public, it is passengers. When it comes to logistics, it's all businesses. So that's what I have to tell you right now. Thank you very much.
Flyover bridge. It is a bridge that carries one road or railway line above another, either with or without subsidiary roads, for communication between the two sides. The reason behind going for a flyover is the traffic on the road goes only increasing and we don't have any space left in both the dimensions. Then the only option left will be to go on the third dimension, and that is done through flyover construction. Let's see how flyover bridge impact to society and businesses. Flyover bridge will provide both positive and negative impact to the society and business. Positive impacts of flyover. Flyover streamlining the traffic control system. Through flyovers, plenty of time is saved avoiding congestion. Flyovers reduce the pollution effect and risk of accident. Flyovers contribute a lot to the aesthetic of the city. The person who traveling on the flyover can enjoy the panoramic view of the city. Flyover provides for two-phase signals with short cycle lengths, significantly reducing delay. It reduced horizontal curvature, reduces risk of off-road crashes, increases the capacity of turning movements to and from the ramp. Reduce the number of lanes on the crossroad, minimizing impacts to existing right-of-way. Increases the capacity of an existing overpass or underpass by removing the need of turn lanes. Reduces the time which nearby industries get trapped by train. It may stimulate economic activity and eliminates problems to area business, such as fire protection, emergency medical service, and security issues. The capacity of road can be increased without changing road geometrics. Negative impacts of flyover. Flyover requires large area and also it is very costly. Flyover construction may cause many problems. Loss in the case of accidents is increased. The risk of accidents is reduced, but in case an accident occurs, the loss may be more, as the people who cannot risk their lives in relying on it are not using it. that the flyover has become a liability instead of an asset for the city. The loop ramps are not as efficient as flyover or under-ramps in terms of traffic flow. It is a bridge that
Tunnel technology. The tunnels are defined as the underground passages that are used for the transportation purpose. These permit the transmission of passenger and freights, or it may be the transportation of utilities like water, sewage or gas, etc. The operation and the constructions are carried out underground without disturbing the ground surface. This operation is called as a tunneling. Advantages of tunnels technology. The surface-like or ground activities like transportations are not disturbed when tunneling is undergone. The method ensures high-speed construction with low power consumption, reduces noise pollution. These methods have freedom from snow and iceberg hazards in areas of high altitudes. Disadvantages of tunnel technology. Highly sophisticated and specialized equipment are necessary to perform the tunneling operations. The initial investment cost for commencing the tunnel is high. Higher and constant supervision from the start to the end of the tunneling project is necessary without any compromise. Highly skilled and experienced designers and engineers team only will work best for the operation.
reduce the number of lanes on the crossroad, minimizing impacts to existing right-of-way. Increases the capacity of an existing overpass or underpass by removing the need of turn lanes. Reduces the time which nearby industries get trapped by train. It may stimulate economic activity and eliminates problems to area business, such as fire protection, emergency medical service, and security issues. The capacity of road can be increased without changing road geometrics. Negative impacts of flyover. Flyover requires large area and also it is very costly. Flyover construction may cause many problems. Loss in the case of accidents is increased. The risk of accidents is reduced, but in case an accident occurs, the loss may be more, as the people who cannot risk their lives in relying on it are not using it. That the flyover has become a liability instead of an asset for the city. The loop ramps are not as efficient as flyover or under ramps in terms of traffic flow.
Tunnel technology. The tunnels are defined as the underground passages that are used for the transportation purpose. These permit the transmission of passenger and freights, or it may be the transportation of utilities like water, sewage or gas, etc. The operation and the constructions are carried out underground without disturbing the ground surface. This operation is called as a tunneling. Advantages of tunnels technology. The surface-like or ground activities like transportations are not disturbed when tunneling is undergone. The method ensures high-speed construction with low power consumption, reduces noise pollution. These methods have freedom from snow and iceberg hazards in areas of high altitudes. Disadvantages of tunnel technology. Highly sophisticated and specialized equipment are necessary to perform the tunneling operations. The initial investment cost for commencing the tunnel is high. Higher and constant supervision from the start to the end of the tunneling project is necessary without any compromise. Highly skilled and experienced designers and engineers team only will work best for the operation.
Up to this, we discussed impact of each transportation technology to business and society. This is the summary of the transportation technology, how it will impact to society and business. Transport systems support complex economic and social interactions and are thus a component of society. Transportation reflects the aspirations of a society such as accessibility and mobility, which expands its horizon. For economic activities such as business, transportation enables to access the workforce, reach suppliers and service customers. With the improvement in transportation, interactions with the workforce are more effective and the cost of distribution usually declines with the derived competitive benefits. Transportation is the means to access employment, goods, services, leisure and social networks, and using transportation is often a social experience, at times negative. Transportation cannot be seen as an homogeneous system, but as a set of diverse elements, at times in competition. Access and services are not uniform, while many of the social and economic impacts of transportation are positive. There are also significant societal challenges. Accidents. The use of transport modes and infrastructure is never entirely safe. Therefore, public policy has focused on different aspects of transportation safety such as vehicles, infrastructure design and operating conditions. The respective level of safety depends on the mode of transport and the speed at which an accident occurs. No mode is completely safe, but the road remains the riskiest mode for transportation. Health. The easier is to move over short distance through mechanical means such as vehicles, elevators and escalators, the less users are incited to walk. There can be thus a societal drawback to convenient mobility, since a population could be walking and therefore exercising less. All these issues underline the profound social implications of transportation in terms of opportunities, but as well in terms of social exclusion. The mobility provided by transport activities has a wide range of environmental consequences, which have a cost that have to be assumed by the users and the society. Air quality. It is estimated that 3 million deaths per year are related to air pollution, although the contribution of transportation is less clear. In urban regions, about 50% of all air pollution emanates from automobile traffic. Noise, a major irritant. Noise can impact on human health and most often human welfare. Water quality. Accidental and nominal runoff of pollutants from transport such as oil spills are source of contaminations for both surface water and groundwater.